Welcome to the Be Your Best Self blog by Marcia Abbott. Don't feel bad for me. You're never going to believe what happened the other night. You're not going to believe who we ran into and what I learned. Stick with me on this, it's a good one. So the other day, my husband and I decided to go out for a night on the town. It'd sure been a while. We met up with my brother and one of his best friends. It was a night of relaxing, playing darts, listening to good jukebox music, as long as I was in charge, and just laughing the night away. Then we decided to head to a small, off-the-wall bar called Paul's Tavern. It's a local attraction that is best described by calling it a taxidermist's dream come true, while also being known for having some of the best burgers in town. It really is a pretty unique place to hang out with its own cool style. And as we were sitting at Paul's Tavern doing our thing, with an empty bar surrounding us, in walks Jim Belushi and the board of comedy stars. We couldn't believe it. At this point, my brother and his friend immediately jump up and run to Mr. Belushi, asking for a picture and striking up a conversation with him. My husband and I didn't want to overwhelm the stars, so we decided to just hang back for a while. We were feeling awkward and didn't know what to do next, so we did nothing, and we just let those two do all of the talking and picture taking for us. But the bad part of staying in the background means that we still didn't have our own picture with him, as we just didn't have the nerve to ask. It's hard to be that bold when you meet a celebrity. Yet when you see a famous person, it's the only thing you ever really want, right? We all want camera proof of those encounters. As the evening wore on, my husband couldn't let it go. He wanted nothing more than to get that picture, and I was too nervous to even ask, although I'm the extrovert in our relationship. But then finally, by the end of the night, my husband worked up the nerve to just do it already. And so he caught up with Mr. Belushi as he was heading back from the restroom. And as he politely asked the star for a picture with us, I couldn't help but tell Mr. Belushi these next words. Gosh, I just feel bad for you. Now, why would I feel bad for somebody like Jim Belushi or anyone famous for that matter? Let me tell you what was running through my mind in that moment. I was thinking how Mr. Belushi probably never gets a rest from the public eye. I thought maybe he just wanted to enjoy his drink and conversations with his friends. Or maybe he wanted some time to sit back, relax, and take the night in after a recent performance. But of course, us fans never seem to give him rest. I was guessing that all of this had to be exhausting for him. So yes, I felt bad for him, assuming these thoughts were probably running through his head right then and there. But then something happened that I will never forget. At that exact moment, and after I just got done saying those words to him, Mr. Belushi stopped us from taking that one picture we so desperately wanted. He then looked over at me, looked me straight in the eyes, and said, "Please, don't feel bad for me. I have more wealth than I need. I'm famous, and so people really like to meet me. And sometimes they even want to take a picture with me. I have it pretty good in life, so don't ever feel bad for me." I realized a couple of things in that moment. Number one, not only is Mr. Belushi a very kind and humble soul by realizing and admitting that he has had what some would call the lucky card in life, but he also so clearly never takes his life for granted, not even as he finished taking that picture with a couple of his fans in small town Dubuque, Iowa. And number two, those words he just shared with me, well, it ended up changing me for the better. And I hope you too will be as moved as I was. Because here's what I learned from this one exciting yet simple experience in life. This is what I learned from Mr. Jim Belushi. As I started to reflect on my own life, I realized that while I may not have his kind of wealth, I have so much to be thankful for. Looking around this world today, especially thinking of those poor souls in Ukraine, I see so clearly what many others out there are going through. And when I look at the way I live, the way we all live, well, I too would have to say that I'm pretty darn wealthy. We are all very wealthy to live the American life that we do. And sure, I'm not famous, nor do I have random strangers come up to me at off-the-wall bars to take a picture with me. But when I look at the wonderful people in my life, when I reflect on all of the good people who exist all around me, well, then I must admit, I really am famous to them. And actually, they too are famous to me. Why? Because when we're together, I do get excited to see them, and they're just as happy to see me. When we spend time with one another, it's one of those simple yet exciting experiences in life that we get to enjoy together. And we certainly try to remember to snap those photos with each other every chance we get, because we desperately want to remember those special moments too. So in our own right, we are all famous when it comes to how we're viewed by those amazing people we have in our own life. So in that moment with Mr. Belushi, I realized that I too got the lucky card in life. And guess what? So did you. It's just a matter of taking a moment to pause and to just look around and really see what we have been given on this journey, what we all have been given in this life. So, Mr. Belushi, I just have to tell you that you are right. You do have a pretty good life. And while I don't have the fame and fortune that you so humbly and graciously accept, I still also have it pretty good. I too really am one of the lucky ones in life. Thank you for that reminder. And if we ever cross paths again, maybe in another off-the-wall bar someday, just remember this: I won't feel bad for you anymore. And please don't ever feel bad for me either. For those of you struggling with something in life, or if you have a topic of interest that you want me to talk about in this blog, email me at beyourbestselfblog@gmail.com. Let's work together to be our very best selves. Click below on the subscribe button for my weekly updates.